Helaena on Dreamfyre, 3 dragons, a dragon rider's betrayal while fighting a wild dragon, and 1 dragon has awakened again. This episode of House of the Dragon was one of the wildest episodes so far. Where the previous episode was lore-heavy, this episode turned out to be dragon-heavy. Something has happened here that has confirmed that Rhaenyra is in a very big mess. So, there is a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode, which you must have seen at the start of every episode. But this time, the disclaimer was serious because something has been shown in this episode that must have made every single viewer feel very strange. But first, let's talk about the intro. This time, at the end of the intro, we saw a glimpse of the Butcher's Ball, where the Rivermen had planted fake dead bodies in the previous episode. That scene was depicted in the thread work of the intro, where you can see Criston Cole taking arrows. This episode begins with Helena's dream, where she is watching a horse-drawn carriage. She is standing at the gate of the Red Keep, where as the gate opens, she perhaps sees the evening sun. Right here, her sleep breaks when Rhaenyra calls out to her and asks her about her dream. Now, at first, I thought Rhaenyra would be happy to know that her father Viserys' talk about Targaryens having dreamers has come true. But here, it seems that Rhaenyra is asking Helaena about her dreams out of her own fear. We saw in the previous episode that Rhaenyra gets a cut on her finger from the Iron Throne. There is a superstition in Westeros regarding this, that the Iron Throne rejects the person sitting on it. Now, this very thing is affecting Rhaenyra, and that is why she is forcing her stepsister to tell her if everything will be alright. Now look, the point here isn't even about Rhaenyra wanting to hear a prophecy. Right now, Rhaenyra just wants words of affirmation. Just someone tell her that everything will be fine. And we see this thing ahead as well when Mysaria gives her words of affirmation along with other things. Coming back to the interesting part of this episode, here Rhaenyra asks Helaena if Aemond had asked her to go to war, to which Helaena says yes, and Rhaenyra tells her that Corlys suspected this. Aemond had told Helaena in the Season 2 finale to ride Dreamfyre and come with him to war. But Helaena refuses. At the same time, in the Season 2 finale, Corlys also warned Rhaenyra that the Greens could use Dreamfyre against her, to which Rhaenyra said that Dreamfyre is dangerous. But Helaena is no warrior, and this thing also proved to be true. Right here, Helaena tells her that she loved to fly as a child, but now it feels strange. Now, book readers have also been thinking for a long time that, having a big dragon like Dreamfyre, why did the Greens always need to rely only on Vhagar? But here, it is becoming somewhat clear that dragon riding affects a dreamer's ability to see dreams. This also happened with Viserys, where he flew a little after claiming Balerion. But sometime after that, Balerion died of old age, after which, Viserys never bonded with any dragon again. Plus, we heard him say in the first season that he always wanted to be a dreamer, where he also dreamed that his son would wear Aegon the Conqueror's crown after him. He talks about this with Alicent in Season 1, Episode 3, where he also says that a dragon's power is nothing compared to the power of prophecy. Now, this was also a reason that Alicent not only understood from dying Viserys' words that he was talking about their son Aegon, but she also made her son Aegon wear the Conqueror's crown, because she remembered that Viserys had dreamed exactly this. Now, the connection between dragon riding and dreaming is proven further, where we can see that Aemond, away from his dragon Vhagar for so long, is also having strange dreams about his mother. And the next moment, he sees that his mother is there in front of him. So, somewhere this connection seems correct that Targaryens who stay away from dragon riding become dreamers. Now, a theory is coming to my mind. What if, after the events of the Dance of the Dragons, when all the dragons had died, the Targaryen dreamers were going mad by seeing dreams after dreams? Targaryen madness was very famous in Westeros. We even heard in Game of Thrones, Cerberus and Selmy saying that King Jaehaerys II told him that whenever a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. On one side of the coin is greatness, and on the other side is madness. Now, as long as the coin is in the air, the world holds its breath to see which side will come down. We have also seen in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms that Mikar's son Daeron is a dreamer who keeps himself drowned in alcohol to quiet the voices in his head. Here, Helaena says that her father Viserys did not want to change, to which Rhaenyra also asks, "Do dragons change us?" To which Helaena says, "You now have many dragons. Have you not changed?" Now, this conversation shifted from prophecy to symbolic, where Helaena is indicating that the power of dragons has made Rhaenyra a different person, and Helaena is right. The way Rhaenyra talked in her court in the previous episode makes it clear that she is changing somewhere. Now, upon Rhaenyra asking, Helaena further tells her that she last saw an old mare. Now, this is Helena's way of telling about her dreams. Helaena very rarely says anything clearly. We saw in Season 1, Episode 6, that Helaena had already foretold that Aemond would have to lose his eye to gain a dragon. In Season 1, Episode 7, she talks about the spool of green, spool of black, hinting that her house is going to split into greens and blacks. Plus, the weaving she talks about there is currently the intro of Season 2 and 3. In the dinner scene of Season 1, Episode 8, Helaena says, "Beware the beast beneath the boards," which was a direct hint when Rhaenys' dragon crashes through the floor in Episode 9 on her dragon malaise. Helaena hints at blood and cheese beforehand. She has only clearly told Aemond what is going to happen. And this is what Helaena is saying here, that some dreams are clear, some are just a glimpse. But Rhaenyra feels that Helaena is hiding something, although Rhaenyra is not paying attention where she should, to Helena's needlework, with the help of which Alicent had told Rhaenyra about Aemond. Now, more than Helena's prophecy, Rhaenyra's truth is coming out here, where her forcing Helaena is somewhat revealing her madness. And even now, Helaena is seeing dreams in this episode, where we see Helaena dreaming that she has a baby boy. As soon as he is born, the King's Guard take him away. It's like a fever dream, where she is having back-to-back dreams. In the next dream, Helaena is riding her dragon Dreamfyre, and the look of Dreamfyre is, in my opinion, very godly, where she is in the dragon pit and a crowd is coming towards her, and Helaena is saying Dracarys to her dragon. In the next dream, she sees herself under the open sky with her son Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, where they are feeding chickens. There is a horse behind. Suddenly, an eclipse is happening in the sky. It's starting to snow, and a snowstorm is coming. Now, look, snow falling and a snowstorm coming is somewhat an indication of the Night King. But overall, what the clear meaning of which dream is, we will find out soon. But the chickens shown here, Helaena mentioned them in the second episode of this season. Now, coming to Aemond. So, Harrenhal and Aemond's strange mental health together are showing him something that we, the audience, would wish had remained limited only to his mind. That would have been much better. After what happened between him and his mother Alicent in the first episode of this season, we had to wash our eyes. But after what we've seen in this episode now, it feels like we need to take the brain out of our heads and wash our brain. But this isn't happening for the first time. The dream Aemond had is very similar to the dream Daemon saw in episode 5 of the last season, from which it's quite clear that most probably Aemond never wants this. It's just Harrenhal playing with his mind, like Harrenhal was playing with Daemon's mind. Although when he gets out of that dream, he finds himself with Alice and comes out to see that his mother Alicent has come to meet him, meaning the dragon rider has become a dreamer. He has seen what is going to happen ahead. Now, with Alicent, Rhaenyra sent her Queen's Guard, Sir Adrian Redford, whom Aemond finished as soon as he saw him. Now, this episode once again proves that Alicent is not a good mother at all. Nor is she even trying to be a good mother. Poor Aemond had even made up a reason in his dream that his mother got married in her teenage years. So that's why she didn't pay attention to her children. Whereas Alicent has considered Aegon and Aemond dead in her mind. Where she herself tries to take Aemond's life. And somewhere Alice knew this would happen. And that's why she was ready to save Aemond. Although the thing to think about is what effect will this have on Aemond now? Here, it's not just Harrenhal that showed him the truth. His mother came in front and showed him the truth of his life. What effect will this have on his psychology? It will be because Alice had already warned him that his mother Alicent's intentions were not good. Now, coming to Rhaena. So, Rhaena set out in this episode to find Vhagar herself. She was doing this so she could get redemption for what happened because of her in the gullet. Now, about this when Daemon comes to talk to Lady Jane Arryn, we see that Jane is busy with someone. Now, Lady Jane Arryn, who is also called the Maiden of the Vale, has been the head of House Arryn since the time of old King Jaehaerys when she was 3 years old, and the book mentions what Lady Jane likes, the confirmation of which is happening here. On top of all this, Rhaena leaving from here is a dangerous thing for Lady Jane. Because this will mean that if Rhaenyra finds out who the writer of Sheepstealer is, and that Lady Jane was hiding her at her place, then her anger will be on Rhaena as well as House Arryn. Although Daemon is also saying right here that Rhaena should have been kept hidden. To which Lady Jane says one thing, that in the Vale, people are talking about a dragon rider. A wild girl who lives in the mountains and lives among nettles and sheep. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Nettles is called a wild plant, and Nettles was the name of that character in the book who was the rider of the wild dragon Sheepstealer. Now, in the series, the arcs of Rhaena and Nettles have been merged. But if we look at what happened in this episode, it can be said that the common public won't know about this. Where the people in the Vale talking about some girl don't know that it is Rhaena. Because just like Rhaena has been living in the Vale since the Battle of the Gullet, the same thing is said in the book. Rhaena lives in the Vale under Lady Jane Arryn. Now, here Daemon tells Lady Jane not to tell anyone about this. He will look into this matter himself. Where when Rhaenyra finds out from Adam and Baela that they have seen Sheepstealer, Rhaenyra is surprised and angry too. And Mysaria explains to Rhaenyra that Daemon lied to her. Now, Mysaria starts convincing Rhaenyra that Daemon cannot be trusted. Now, this is happening because Daemon also does not trust Mysaria. Plus, when Daemon brings a fake head in front of Rhaenyra in episode 4 of this season, even then Mysaria suspects that Daemon is lying. Where she also asks Daemon if it is Ser Gawain's. Now, this is something Rhaenyra has been struggling with since she captured King's Landing. Her focus is not in one place. She hasn't got revenge for her son Jaehaerys' death. All her gold is missing. The small folk don't even have candles to burn. And now Daemon's lying. No doubt, Rhaenyra is feeling restless. Now, due to this restlessness, for dragons come face to face. Where first let's come to the conversation between Daemon and Rhaena. Daemon talks about helping Rhaena, that he will go with her to finish Vhagar. Now, this is something interesting. Daemon, for the first time, is talking about paying attention to his daughter, whom he didn't pay proper attention to. Plus, he has taken the first step to finish Vhagar, although the same atmosphere slips out of everyone's hands. Now, you remember Viserys' words in Season 1, Episode 1, that controlling dragons is an illusion. And this moment perfectly shows this, where Sheepstealer is forced to go 1 versus 3. And somewhere I felt bad for poor Sheepstealer because the poor thing was quietly stealing sheep and eating them, and Rhaena came to him for no reason, and today his condition has become so bad. Plus, in this fight, Rhaenyra's dragon Syrax also got injured. where if you look, the MVP is Caraxes, and somewhere we are understanding here that Daemon's hold on his dragon is tremendous. Where Caraxes made Sheepstealer's condition very bad. So bad that Sheepstealer left from there on his feet, not by flying. Now, it remains to be seen whether Sheepstealer's arc ends here, because in the book 2, Sheepstealer's incidents of action were never heard of beyond this. It's said about him that he was last seen in the Mountains of the Moon, which is most probably this very place. Meaning, from here, the Nettles arc ends, and Rhaenyra's arc has begun. Where in King's Landing, Daemon explains to Rhaenyra that he just wanted to save Rhaenyra. Along with that, it's clearly visible that Daemon is stuck here between his daughter Rhaenyra and his wife and queen, Rhaenyra. Where now Rhaenyra doesn't know what to do with Daemon. Plus, talking about Rhaenyra, at least her sister Baela has forgiven her. Now, coming to Ormund. So, I couldn't discuss this in the previous episode's breakdown that Ormund's knights bring up Rhaenyra's hand, Corlys Velaryon, lifted at the top. He did this because Rhaenyra sent her guards in the clothes of a Baratheon envoy. He also sends a cryptic message about Daeron and Corlys' capture to Rhaenyra, where it's written, "Kick this dog, and it will bite your hand." Now, Rhaenyra didn't understand this because throughout the whole episode, she just asks Ellen in her small council if there is any trace of Lord Corlys. Therefore, Ormund sends Corlys' finger with the ring on it to Ellen, so that Rhaenyra finally understands that her hand, Corlys, is with Ormund. Now, it remains to be seen what Rhaenyra does for him. But one thing is clear, that Ormund has proven to be a good villain this whole season who, like a puppeteer, is literally controlling everyone. Although how long this control of his will last remains to be seen. Because the Riverlands army, along with the Greybeards, carrying Criston Cole's head on a spear, is now just a day's march away from Tumbleton. Although Ormund tells Gwaine that he has a piece on the board that will bring Rhaenyra to her knees. Now, Daeron and Gwaine are both surprised that if this piece on the board was Corlys, then what is the happy thing about it? But Daeron and Gwaine are underestimating Ormund, because we later find out that his piece on the board was not Corlys. Through Corlys, it could be that he will keep his Velaryon men away from King's Landing and bring chaos there. But his piece on the board is revealed ahead, where we see that Ormund has set up a conversation with Silverwing's rider, Ulf, to whom he's not only giving something to eat and drink, but is also provoking him by saying that what Daemon did with him in Flea Bottom was absolutely not right. Now, here Ormund says this while talking to Ulf, meaning this is not the first time Ulf and Ormund are talking. Meaning, somewhere Ulf has already gone to the green side. That is why Ulf is also saying here that Ormund promised him last time that he would give him lordship and a castle, for which Ulf has come thinking what lord he will become, and that place is Honeyholt. Now, Honeyholt comes under House Beesbury, whose lord, Sir Alan Beesbury, was captured by Ormund at the Battle of the Honeywine in the book. This battle was not shown to us in the series, but perhaps that's why Ulf is asking Ormund for Honeyholt. Although Ormund knows how to make his guest happier, where he promises to give him Driftmark, along with which comes a big fleet, making Ulf the Lord of the Tides. Now, with this promise, Ulf and Silverwing have gone to the green side. Now, before the episode's most horrific twist, let's quickly settle the small events. In Rhaenyra's small council, Ser Torrhen Manderly has somewhat understood that he was made the master of coin just to be a scapegoat. Here, Rhaenyra has given Harrenhal to the Freys, meaning Subatov Fry just has to take her people and go capture Harrenhal, although Aemond is still alive there, whereas Alicent thinks she has successfully finished Aemond, because of which she will come back and tell everyone that Harrenhal is empty, while the real chaos will begin now. Adam puts forward to Baela that if his brother or either of them marries some highborn lady, they will be legitimized, on which Baela reveals what happened between her and Ellen. But before Adam can even react, Sheepstealer appears to them. Now, it remains to be seen what reaction Adam will have to this. Now, come to that moment after which everyone will now become a fan of Aegon. So, this whole season we saw that Aegon is on a character development arc, where at the beginning of the season, he feels bad that no one even knows if he is alive or not. He has been declared dead, where everyone is saying that his brother killed him. Plus, he had to do odd jobs at Rook's Rest. His body is ruined. His face is burnt. Larys has shown him his reality. And despite all this, in this episode, the army of Mutons from Maidenpool is in front of him. Now, House Mutton supports the Blacks, where Lord Whaley's Mutton has come to Rook's Rest for Rhaenyra with his 100 knights. Now, where Aegon has no way but to run, he is using this attack as a chance to at least give himself a king's death. Now, here Aegon bravely choosing an end to save his name is something that no one would expect from the Aegon of Season 2. On top of this, Tylan standing with him tells that Tylan didn't show his strength only in front of the Triarchy, but he is also brave enough to be ready to embrace death with his king. Now, at this point, Aegon has nothing to lose. His name alone will be made in this end, although Larys left him. But what happened here was on a completely different level. Even at the beginning of the season, Aegon didn't even bow in Rhaenyra's name to save himself. And here he screams his name, that he is Viserys' true heir, Aegon Targaryen, the sixth of his name, king of the Undulls, the Rhaenyra, and the first men, whose coronation was done by the High Septon himself. Now, here he also says some things related to faith, where he thinks this is why everyone is backing off. But when he turns around and sees the reason for everyone backing off, he understands that he has been reborn. Sunfire, who was in bad condition near Rook's Rest but wasn't dying, is alive, and he wakes up at his rider's voice, and upon his saying Dracarys, burns the Mutons of Maidenpool to ashes. No one expected this sight. This is a twist that book readers knew about, but they too are surprised to see the sight. A crippled Aegon, with his wounded dragon, laughing loudly, Aegon has not only become a part of this dance again, but has also become a favorite of many, and along with dragon power, he also has the crown's gold, about which Tylan knows.